My name's Dave. I work for Amazon. I am based out of the East Coast, US, but my role is worldwide. I'm delighted to be here in Paris. This is my first time here, so thank you for having me. Please let me know if I speak too fast. I have a tendency to get a little bit excited about this stuff. If you need me to repeat anything, just go ahead and raise your hand. I want to keep this informal, too. I don't feel like just reading off slides. So I have demos. I have the developer environment set up. What I want you to walk away with today is to understand that I'm a resource. My entire job is to help Android developers be successful. All right, we have an app store. It's based completely on Jelly Bean, so API 17, that runs on Amazon Fire devices. So you may have heard it referred to as Kindle Fire in the past. For our tablets, everything now is just Fire. All right, so I've got a Fire phone up here. We have a Fire TV that just launched in Europe. It's actually sold out in Germany, and it's going to be sold out soon in UK. And that'll be hitting more countries soon. And we just announced new Fire tablets. So we have an ecosystem of hardware, and we have this app ecosystem. We also have APIs that are completely free for you, that work in Google Play, that work in iTunes, things like mobile app analytics, an ad network, in-app purchasing, all of that is available. Everything I'm going to show you today is free. We don't charge developers any money to be in our store. There's no annual subscription fee. The only time we'll actually take a split is for paid apps and in-app purchasing. Make sense? Okay, so here's my email address. You can email me directly. I am going to be at the conference today and tomorrow. We have a booth. So if you have not seen any of the Fire tablets, the Fire TV, or the Fire phone, stop by. If you have an APK, I'll be happy to load it on any of the devices for you. We're actually running a contest. So today and tomorrow at the conference, all you have to do is bring your APK over. We'll run it through our free web tester, and I'll show you where that is. You don't even have to register. All you have to do is test your APK. You'll get $20 Euro gift card for Amazon, and you'll be entered into our raffle tomorrow, where we'll be giving away a Fire TV, a Fire phone, a Kindle Fire, and a controller, all in one package, okay? So pretty exciting stuff to give away. And that's me on Twitter, too, the Dave Dev. So what I'm going to do today is just give you an overview of when this stuff started. I'm going to introduce our devices, so the Fire phone, the TV, and then the rest of it we'll get to geek out in Android Studio, actually look at the code, actually look at what it's like to implement some of the APIs and to use the web tester. Sound good? All right, so everything you need is in this URL. So it's just developer.amazon.com/Firephone and Fire TV. If you're interested in Amazon-specific Fire devices. That URL, by the way, if you remove developer, is the customer URL too. So if you want to see the actual product page, it's just amazon.com/Fire TV or Fire phone. So everything you need, that'll link you directly to our developer portal. We also have a blog. So that's developer.amazon.com blog, where I'll post lots of tips. I have a top 10 tips for optimizing your Android app for TV that I go over things like layout and overscan, and then I use Fire TV as an example. So there's things up there for all types of Android development tips and tricks, and then stats about our store. Is anybody here doing HTML5 too, by the way? Because I had a question at the table earlier. Everything I'm showing you also supports that. Bless you. All right, so currently Amazon has over 240 global customer accounts. Those are accounts that are active with a credit card and purchasing. We have an ecosystem of apps that are promoted through the Amazon website, through our devices. So you see Fire phone, TV, and Kindle Fire, and then through our App Store for Android. We just did an update, and you'll see this on the blog, for the App Store for Android. Has everybody here seen or heard at least about the Amazon.com app? Right? It's in Google Play, it's in iTunes, people use it to order and scan items. That app on Android now is the App Store. So everybody, and there are millions and millions of customers with that, will see your apps inside that store on Android devices as well. And then BlackBerry announced we are the App Store for their new BlackBerry 10 devices. So exposure for you for your Android app, and the way that I talk about this is, you can use Eclipse, you can use Android Studio, you can use Xamarin, you could use Unity, whatever you want. Keep your development environment. Just take your APK when you're done with Google Play and submit it over here, and you'll be in front of new customers. And you have potential, potential new reach, potential new revenue, of course, right? Who doesn't like that? And you'll see Amazon customers have a much higher ARPU, average revenue per user, across the industry, across all of the app stores. You'll see a lot of case studies where session times are higher, where in-app purchase items are higher. Amazon customers, particularly on the Fire tablets, are really engaged with the apps that they love. So feedback on the tablet, I'm not going to go through these quotes, but it's been a very well-received device. TV, same exact thing. What's important for you to understand is it's one ecosystem. So there's no separate stores, there's no separate developer program. You submit through the same console, and you'll get checkboxes. You can do any and all Fire tablets, you can do Fire TV, you can do phone, you can do Android, or you can do any one specifically. You can submit one APK to us, and then do capability detection, or you can submit multiple APKs. I've seen people that submit just a specific APK for TV. So it's entirely up to you how you want to handle that. We're in 200 plus countries. And as I mentioned, we're on BlackBerry 10 devices. We're also preloaded on Android smartphones. So for example, in the US, Verizon Wireless is one of the major carriers. A lot of those phones have the App Store. You'll be able to submit and be in front of US customers, whoever buys an Android phone from that carrier as well. So lots and lots of reach. Here's the SDK. This runs across Unity. There's things in here that you would expect, like ads and in-app purchasing. I won't go over all of these. I just want you to understand basically anything that you would want to do in a mobile app, we have a free SDK for, and it sits on top of AWS. Is everyone familiar with AWS, Amazon Web Services? So for example, like the analytics, you don't have to have any EC2 or S3 instances. We're not charging you for that time. You can actually get millions and millions of transactional data with no charge at all. We're fully integrated with the AWS side. We're just trying to make your life easier by allowing this SDK. So Mobile Ads SDK, this has interstitial formats. This runs across Google Play and Fire OS, and it also runs across iOS. So it's nice to have a network where you just have one kind of call that you can do across all of that. It's currently serving ads in France, US, UK, Germany, Spain, and Italy. Right now, there's a guaranteed $6 US eCPM for Fire Phone. So if you're familiar with ads, you know how high that CPM is. If you submit and you put ads on there, they have to be the new interstitial format. And these ads have been very well received by customers. They're not, like text ads. They're beautiful. We actually have a design team. Here you can see it's a full piece of jewelry off Amazon that'll be served up. And then in-app purchasing is what you would expect, right? So here you can see the Amazon experience comes up. It's completely branded. It's like one click, just like the website. A customer does not have to log in again. On all Amazon devices and the Amazon App Store, their Amazon ID is already there. So they simply go ahead and purchase that item. Items can be subscriptions. They can be entitlements. Anything that you can think of. So you can have digital currency. You can have expansion packs, what you'd expect. All of that, you have the ability right through here. Does that make sense? Okay. And then you can see here I have my purchase. What's really neat for customers is that everything that they purchase digitally also appears under their orders on Amazon.com. So I have another tab for digital goods. So I'll see physical goods I order, and then digital goods I purchase on the App Store, as well as items that I do through in-app purchasing are all in one place as an Amazon customer. We also have a mobile associates API. So when you think about monetizing your app today, you've got a couple options, right? You can ask for money outright. You can do the freemium model, where it's free to download, and then customers are looking at doing in-app purchasing. You can go the ad model, but one of the things we're introducing now is mobile associates. So this is a way for you to sell physical goods through your app and then make a revenue share off of that. So is everybody here familiar with Amazon Associates on the web? You see a lot of this on blogs where if you use their associates link, you'll make a certain percentage. Okay, I see heads nodding. So this will work inside your app. So right here you'll see Air Patriots. This is actually an Amazon Studios game. It runs on Google Play, it's on Fire OS, it's on iOS. And down here in the bottom is a t-shirt for my game. So if my player hits on that, right inside the game, a t-shirt appears. And when I click and purchase, it's the full Amazon experience without leaving the app. And what's really interesting about this, if you think about it, I've seen a lot of game developers, when it comes to ads, that are very worried and concerned about the type of ads that are maybe going to come across. But if I'm creating a game, right, and pixel art's very retro, so let's say I'm creating a pixel art game, and I want to sell 80s gaming t-shirts, it's up to me, it's entirely up to me which products get displayed. You use they're called ASINs. They're basically SKUs from the website, and you could say, I want to show Pac-Man and Space Invaders and Donkey Kong. And so your customers are enjoying the content that you're seeing, but you're earning up to 6% revenue whenever they purchase the item that you displayed. Does that make sense? Okay. And what's neat is if they decide they want to go and purchase a computer while they're at it, you'll also get that revenue as well. I have seen people who enter through that link but wind up purchasing additional things into their cart. And then web apps we talked about. Not many people raise their hand for using web. I'll just say that it is available. All the frameworks like PhoneGap, Phaser, all of that is completely available as a web app. We also have an API called Game Circle. So has everybody here heard of WhisperSync for Kindle? You may see that on Audible as well, where your data is synced between devices in the cloud. So Game Circle is just simple Android API for syncing between devices. So I can have, for example, I can play something on my TV with Fire TV. I go ahead and pick up my tablet or my phone. All of my levels are saved. All of my progress is saved. All of my achievements are saved. So you can see here it's saying how much I've played, and this across all of the devices. It's just a couple lines of code. You basically say what package you want to store. It's just a manifest, and then that data, we store it all for you in the Amazon cloud. Okay? Now, one of the really unique things about our ecosystem that customers love is something called Amazon Coins. Coins are a currency that customers can buy and they can gift, like gift cards at a discount, but they're also rewarded for certain actions. So if I go out and I buy one of the new Fire tablets, I'll get 1,000 Amazon coins. If I go and buy the Fire phone, I'll get 1,000 Amazon coins. And those coins can be redeemed as real currency, but as developers, you get paid actual real dollars, right, or euros. So for example, if we want to promote your game through the store, we can say everybody that downloads this game for the next 2 days receives 100 coins. So customers, just by checking out your game, and your game can be a freemium model in this instance, will receive 100 coins. And then they can take those 100 coins, which in US, 100 coins, you can think of them as pennies, so that's $1. And they could go buy lollipops and Candy Crush with that, right? So you have customers that are actively seeking, and we have a category in our App Store across all the devices in the Android App Store where it will list all of the games that are giving you coins currently just for downloading. And then we have a program that we call Amazon Developer Select, which is open to everyone. You just have to meet certain requirements like using and targeting higher resolution devices, things like that, that gives a better experience for Amazon customers. Once you're in that program, we give you coins, and then you can decide how you want to promote that. So we'll give you up to 5,000 coins per app, And you could, for example, you could say, Droidcon weekend, everybody who downloads my game this weekend, I'm giving 100 coins to. You don't have to come to us. You do it right through the developer console at any time, and you can go ahead and give that to your customers. So it's really about building up that customer base and creating fans, right? We also link digital with physical. I'll give you an example. There's a game from Blizzard out there called World of Warcraft. I don't know if anybody plays it here. I play it way too much. I created, it's a simple app, took a couple minutes. I created a server status, which basically shows people which servers are online. When somebody's buying a World of Warcraft game, mousepad, t-shirt, the new expansion, they'll see my app as something recommended to purchase, right? So there are Amazon customers with well over a decade of purchasing history out there that are going to get app recommendations. So for example, if you're writing an app for maybe runners, and they have bought running shoes, and they have bought other things online, they're going to start seeing your app recommended. So it's really about connecting you as developers with the right audience, and Coins and Developer Select are all part of that. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Okay. And that's all free for you. Then we've introduced something called the App Testing Service. So if you go to developer.amazon.com/apps, and this is what we'll do for the contest downstairs at the booth, you can literally do this on your Android device. You just go here, there's an Upload Browse button. You hit that, open up a File Explorer on your Android device, and point to an APK. And then this will run all the same automated tests we actually run during the certification process. So you'll know right ahead of time if there's anything that you would fail for certification. I can tell you most apps just make it through. We have an SLA around 24 hours. I've seen apps go through as fast as 2 hours. So we're talking hours and not days. Really, the only reasons you would fail are for content issues, things like gambling or adult content, stuff like that would get caught through the filter. So you have a way here to see what's included. And then we talked about Developer Select. Does that make sense for how the ecosystem works, how customers are engaged with this Android content? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, to use those features, do I have to publish my application on my on Amazon, or can I use some of those features even if I'm on the regular Google Play?
Great question. Can I use some of those features if I'm on Amazon, or can I use others on Google Play? I would say half of the SDK for stuff you've seen, things like ads and the testing service, mobile associates, all of that is available on Google Play. The Coins ecosystem is the Amazon Appstore. So your app would have to be in that ecosystem. We don't force you to only be on Amazon, though. So you could be on Google Play, you submit an APK to us, and then that version goes through the Developer Select program. So Amazon Developer Select, the testing service, and the Coins are unique to our App Store. Okay? All right, so Fire Phone. How many people have seen the keynote or heard about Fire Phone? Okay. So Fire Phone, if you've used a Kindle, this will be a very welcome addition. This integrates all of your existing content onto a 4.7-inch screen. It has two unique things that I'm going to go over. The first one being dynamic perspective, and the second being Firefly. So when you come over to the booth and you hold the device, the first thing you'll notice, and we'll see if we can do this up on the screen, there's 4 cameras on the ends here. So does everybody see? This is my home lock screen. I can actually swipe my finger over. You'll see I've got pictures of my kids here. So we're not taking away that personalization. But if I take this device and I look at it and I rotate it, and this is going to be a little bit slower through there, but you'll see it's my head's position. It's not tracking face, but it's my head's position. So I can rotate the face or rotate my head relative to phone. So everybody see, if I look over here, you'll see there's actually a beam of light coming down, and I can see a branch, and then if I look down here, I can peek into the actual lava. So you'll see I don't know if there's any Doctor Who fans, but there's a painting, right? The Fall of Gallifrey, or Gallifrey Falls No More. Harry Potter, the same way. You're looking into a two-dimensional portrait, but it's this entire world. This is what dynamic perspective is doing. So you'll see that, and in fact, you're going to see that right on the app grid. So here is my recent apps. You can see if I move this around, this wheel is actually in 3D. The weather icons, so you can see there's depth and perspective. And again, when I do it on this phone, it's very fast. I apologize for the screen updating. But even the applications themselves. So here's a list of current games I'm running. And if I rotate this device, you can see even older games, right, are being updated. So here's the icon that King did for Candy Crush. So you can see as I move this around, there's just all this added dimension. Any Star Wars fans here? All right, I have to show you this. This is great. So this is Star Wars Assault, right? And if I do this, this to me is one of the best icons, right? Han shot first. But you know, that's a delight to customers. This right here is a grid view and a grid list. So you can expose anything you want from your application here. And then when I click on these, you decide what that activity is that's loaded. They're basically Android intents. So it's a way for people to get information. So for example, my emails, right here, I can triage my emails right from this home screen. And then as you can see here, I've locked Mail to be the first one in the list. So it acts like a normal Android device. You know, I can pull down from the top. I have my notifications, or I can pull up and have my grid. But I also get this pleasing experience that kind of exposes through Android widgets all of this extended information. Yeah?
Does it mean that we must submit a 3D model?
Oh, great question. The question is, does it mean, is it a requirement that I need to submit a 3D model? And the answer is absolutely not. If you choose to, it's in VBS format, and then you simply give that to us. If you don't, we're going to do a 3D transform on the standard Android resource. So I'll show you an example of something like that. What would be a good one? Fitbit. So here's my Fitbit, and Fitbit is just the standard 2D. So you can see there's the Fitbit icon, but if I rotate, you can see how we're just doing a little bit of a 3D transform. So we're adding that depth and kind of that lighting, but it's really just a 2D icon. Great question. So same OS, all of the content. So if a customer bought an app or a game from 3 years ago on the original Kindle Fire, they purchased their Fire phone and it's right there. There's a device and cloud tab at the top. So if you've got existing relationships with Amazon customers, this just continues to complete that ecosystem. And then here's an example in Maps. So you can see here's the Space Needle, the Eiffel Tower's in here as well. As I'm moving around Maps, and these are based on Nokia here, there's a depth and a perspective. So if I move up the phone, you can actually zoom in and around buildings, and you can see all of that too. So dynamic perspective is used throughout the operating system. And then Firefly. So what Firefly is, the camera button on the phone, you hold once just like you would for a normal camera, but if you hold it down, you're going to enter Firefly mode. And what this does is it gives you the ability to scan in real-world physical objects. And I'm not talking about barcodes or QR codes or anything. I'm talking about looking at a physical object. So for example, at the booth, we have a DVD, we have a book. Somebody scanned before, I don't know if they're here, they scanned my Lord of the Rings sticker on my Mac, and it pulled it up on Amazon, right? So there's a bunch of things that you can do across physical objects, and then there's also things you can do like movies, TV, and all of that, right? So you can scan in music, you can scan, let's go over, TV show, for example. So if you're watching a TV show, so like Game of Thrones or something like that, when you scan it with Firefly, it'll tell you what episode that is. And then because IMDb is owned as part of Amazon, it'll tell you the actors on the screen. So all of that information is available, and you can actually plug in as a developer to Firefly. So for example, MyFitnessPal, which is a pretty popular, it's a calorie tracker, has written a plugin, so if I scan a bottle of ketchup, it will actually tell me how many calories those are, right? So it's basically taking real-world physical objects and then creating digital identities, and that's Firefly. Does that make sense? All right, so pretty powerful hardware. You'll see all the Amazon devices right now are quad-core Snapdragon 800s. So the phone's at 2.2 gigahertz. They all have Adreno GPUs now. The phone has 2 gigs RAM. The Fire TV has 2 gigs RAM. They also have Dolby Digital Surround Sound, which is a pretty unique experience. If you've had a phone with just a mono speaker, you hold it up, and you'll actually hear the room get filled out with sound. It's using virtual. We work very closely with Dolby, and they have an SDK for Android developers that works with all our devices that you can actually put your games, especially if it has like music in it, and you'll automatically hit that. Has optical image stabilization, 1080p video. The big thing as developers that has me excited is we've all been in that situation where we have to support people who aren't necessarily technical. A lot of times those people are family members, right? Mayday is on all of our devices. So on the phone or the tablets, you swipe from the top, and within 15 seconds on the phone and 10 on the tablet, a real live human being is there. And you could say, turn on international data. People have done everything from, can you show me how to beat this Angry Birds level, right? to how do you turn on international data, things like that. So all of that is built right in. So that's Fire Phone. Any questions on that? All right, and feel free to come down and check it out at the booth. So from a coding perspective, we have APIs for all of this. What we've done is we've gone back and we've skinned the standard Android controls, and then we've kept the naming conventions identical. So for example, if you've instantiated a button in a view, you just come in and you instantiate a Z button. That Z button will automatically turn cameras off and on and do all of the work for you. So you start, it's not an all or nothing. You can just start taking pieces of your application and add dimension to them. And then we have one-handed shortcuts. So if I tilt the phone, you can have a view that pops in from the side, right? Everybody, the UI today is kind of you slide in from the left or right. This will be a one-handed gesture of just moving the phone. And so, for example, you can see here the music, the lyrics are actually coming in. Peeking, so rather than show all the information, so this is the same with headers and tab bars and buttons. I simply turn my head, and then the text you define for that tab bar will actually be displayed underneath just by the customer going ahead and peeking. Does that make sense? The widgets you saw, we call this the enhanced carousel. You can put a notification counter on them, and we give you list and grid views. And then you basically just instantiate them, and you can define whether you want images or text. You can see the different images right here that I can jump directly to in a map. And then this is the UI framework. So these are different buttons. You can see all of the different depths that they can have and all the different states. I can have focus, press, disable, but we're doing all of this work for you. It's just a framework. It's already been skinned. It's already tapped into the cameras. You just need to go ahead and instantiate the new control. All of your existing code for the other controls will just work. And then, of course, head tracking. If you're doing a game in Unity, by the way, we have a plugin available. It's basically going to give you X, Y, and Z and tilt of your head. Okay? And to show you that, here's a game. Let's see. Did that go through? Oh, hold on. It fell out. Okay. Everybody see that? So here's Tofu Fury. Let me go ahead and run this. We'll rotate this for you.
We are waiting for the other speaker on the other room. Guillaume Vaudot-Route is here. Is he here? No. Okay.
Okay, so do you see the scene here? Think of this like an Angry Birds shooter, right? That would typically be in 2 dimensions. If I look at this scene now, as I'm rotating my device around, and I'll hold this up so you can see how smooth it is over here too, I can actually look all around. So if we play a level here, let's see, we'll pick the first world, and we'll go down to level 3. Okay, so now you can see I've got a bunch of these spikes, all right? And I'm starting over on this side. So if I want to see exactly where I need to get to that blue, you can see I'm looking up. I simply move my finger, and I've moved up. And then I can continue. I can actually look at an angle like this all the way down the complete level. But it's now in this new dimension, but it's another take on that 2-dimensional kind of Angry Birds gameplay. Does that make sense? How you can tap into this new camera system. Okay. So, Fire TV, same exact OS, right? Built on Fire OS, same exact Android hardware. We've basically mapped key up and key down straight to controller support. It's using the Android controller API, so if you already have controller support in your game, maybe you're using controllers in Unity, all of that stuff will work. Same, Qualcomm quad-core Snapdragons with 2 gigs of RAM. You're basically now, though, you're designing for the Tetfont experience. Has anybody here done anything for TV, whether it was Ouya or Android TV? Okay, so you probably already have those resources in your APK. This stuff will just work. You really just need to think about designing for that big display, right? So if you're going to do one APK, if you're going to do a couple different APKs, make sure one of those, when you're thinking about a TV experience, that you're moving up and you're increasing the size of things. What's good to tap on a screen is not good from 10 feet away with a controller. So this is what our navigation looks like. All right, on the Fire TV, you'll see one downstairs. In fact, we have an exclusive with Flappy Bird. So I challenge anybody who wants to do the player versus player mode of Flappy Bird. It's a lot of fun. It does split screen, and you actually get 3 lives, and you can see who can go the furthest. Right? And so that's a good example of taking a game that was on a smaller touch screen and moving it to a bigger screen. Just make sure you're remote friendly. Patterns of reference, right? Screen, view, and flow. Master detail pages. We're not going to have standard Android list views. We're just drilling down in data. So you can see I move from the top, I select what I want, and then I'm giving specific details when that item is actually selected by my customer. Make sense? So all of this is just Android layouts and views that we're using. It's all the same underneath. And then working with HD resolutions, what we've done. How many people here like working with multiple Android resolutions? Right? Just target 1080p, and we scale everything down for you. All right? So it's automatic. It's a hardware scaler. It looks beautiful. Everybody's starting to target 1080p now between phones. So it's just a great way to go ahead. You're obviously going to use XHDPI. Keep everything for 1080p when it comes to pixel density, and we'll do the rest for you. There's no orientation, right? It's obviously if you try and do a get orientation or get rotation, it's going to return false. And then you're 16 by 9 by 1980. Does that make sense? This overscan, by the way, if you haven't heard about this, not so much a problem of TVs common today, but you never know, an Amazon customer could have a TV from 15 years ago. Those TVs typically did not have very good display areas around the edges. And so you want to leave a couple of pixels of a safe zone around the area. And the same way with color, by the way. What looks like a really good representation of red on a touch display may not look red on a TV. It may actually look a little brownish. It may look orangish. So just be aware that color is going to be affected in your TV. Does that make sense? Okay. So how many people here are using Eclipse? And how many are using Android Studio? All right, good. How many here were like me and completely ignored Android Studio till it hit 0.86 and stabilized, right? It's been 0.86 for like a month, which I was like, okay, so this is pretty stable. I think it just upgraded to 0.89. Google has said Android Studio will be the de facto Android environment moving forward, so it's something to pick up now. It's stabilized enough. For Fire TV development, Fire Phone development, it's absolutely required because of the way that resources are being loaded in. So look at this as a way now to actually jump in and check it out. So if you're going to set up your development environment, just go to Google, download Android Studio. Again, there's nothing custom from Amazon. This is just straight Android development. The Fire Phone uses the device default themes, so those were introduced in Android 4.0. So if you've got, kind of an older Froyo app or anything like that that does not have this in your manifest, make sure that you're using this in your Android manifest so that the phone will pick up all the appropriate colors. And then you just go ahead and you register on the site. So let me just show you how fast that is. So this is developer.amazon.com right here. And I apologize for the resolution with the text and everything. If I have an APK, I can upload it right from here. So this is what we would do for the contest. If I'm going to go ahead into and sign up for the console, I already have an account to save time, but you're basically going to come in, give name, publisher name, and contact info. You can start submitting right away if it's a free app. You actually don't have to be vetted, so you don't have to wait for that. If it's just a test account. So here's my Amazon account. And then if I want to submit an app, I am on the wireless, so it will take a little bit. So I just come down here, and you see I have Add New App. So we're just going to say Android. And we'll say Droidcon. And we'll say Entertainment. And it's going to use all of my other developer information right here. Again, apologize for the font. I wonder if I bump it up if you could see it a little better. Is that a little better? Yeah. And then you get a checklist. That's it. So here's general information's done. Availability and pricing, description, images. You can use the same images you have on Google Play, same video, all of that is right in here. And then binary files is where you submit your APK. And you'll see every time I submit a binary file, this is where I select the platforms that I want. So here you'll see Amazon Fire TV, Fire Phone. These are the brand new Kindles that we just announced on Amazon.com, and these are the existing Kindles. Make sense? All right, so free to sign up, free program. You're basically just sending your APK over to us. Getting the SDK. You can do that through developer.amazon.com Fire Phone, or and you see all this on Fire Phone. Just open your Android SDK manager, and you're going to put in this S3 bucket. And that's going to be an official Android SDK add-on, so it'll show up in your add-ons folder. It'll work like any other normal add-on, and it's going to appear under API 17. So you can see here Amazon Fire Phone SDK and Amazon Fire TV SDK. Does that make sense? And then it's just in Android Studio from that point on. Let me show you what that looks like. So here's my Android Studio. And you can see here, this is the SDK for Fire Phone that I have. You can import the package, and it has full Gradle support. So every single example is right here. Let's say you want to check out the dynamic perspective controls, right? So you got dynamic perspective controls. You can see what that layout looks like. It's just standard Android, right? So this is not like the layout for the control itself. This is an example app that's instantiating what that button would look like. So everybody see the picture of the button states? You can see right here the same exact thing. And then if we bring this up and we run this, You can see here, this is what the Fire Phone is coming across as. Android Studio is picking it up as API 17. We'll go ahead and launch this. Okay. And now you can see this is like what every developer would do, right? We want to see every single control. So it's just enumerating through and instantiating every single control. And then you can play around with this. You can mess around with the XML there to go ahead and change your layouts. And then I'll show you an example. Like here's a toggle button. And you can see when I hit it, and you can see my logcat at the bottom there is pointing out all these samples have information. You can see the actual toggle click event was created. So we tried to make it as easy as possible, plugs right into your standard Android environment. There's a complete SDK that goes through everything, and it's as simple as bringing it down through the SDK manager. Make sense? All right, great. And then I already showed you how to submit to the App Store. And any other information you need is at Fire Phone and Fire TV. And that is it. Sound good? Okay, so I'll be up here if anybody has questions. And then, like I said, I'm at the conference rest of today and tomorrow as well. Please stop by the booth. I'm happy to show you what this stuff looks like on all the different devices as well as your own APKs.
Do we have an idea of how many Fire Phone has been sold and how many users can I reach if I made an app specific to the Fire Phone?
Yeah, I wish I could give you a number. I mean, you probably know that's an Amazon thing. Just as a company, we don't release numbers. The philosophy, by the way, and I believe in this philosophy, Jeff believes in a really customer-centric culture. And if we start talking about numbers, then it becomes a market share race. And we're not worried about market share, we're worried about Amazon customers. And so what I tell people is, if you want to know if they like the device or not, and this is, by the way, why you see such a high ARPU, is people are attached to their Amazon devices, they enjoy using it, they enjoy Amazon as a company and a brand. Just go to the Amazon.com, look at the product page, read the reviews, and look for verified purchase. That means somebody actually bought the product. Because we don't stop Amazon customers who just want to go in and say whatever they want, right? Because we allow customers to give feedback. But look for those verified purchases. I think you'll see a lot of really interesting feedback and people who enjoy the products. What I can say, what we do show, is you can go to Amazon.com right now, and you could see the app numbers in the store. And that's always good as a developer to see. You know, we've got over 200,000 apps and growing. So you can literally come right over here, say shop by department, say Amazon App Store for Android. Right, and we'll say apps, or you can see over 250,000 now. It's just been, since we announced TV and phone, it's been like a 300% increase in submissions. It's just been crazy. So you can see here, again, that font is a little crazy. But just in the last 30 days alone, there's been over 12,000 new apps. You can see all the different categories. So like if you want to come in here and say, hey, what's the most popular category? Here you can see there's almost 200,000 apps available for Fire Phone. So there's a lot of content for customers to go ahead and download and enjoy. Okay. Any other questions? All right, awesome. Well, thank you everybody for your time. Merci.